Mel, of all the people in this draft, the talent is not the thing that is concerning people about Tua, but when you can't get your guys, your doctors, on him to have discussions with him, to medically check him out, where are we in what Tua's landing spot may eventually be in the draft?
Makes it much more complicated, Trey. In a normal year, you would think trading up for Tua because you have obviously more information medically on him and where he is and where he will be. Now it's going to be interesting. Does Miami at 5? Justin Herbert, Oregon, is heavily in this discussion. Okay, he's a guy had a heck of a finish to the year, nailed the draft process, and comes in clean. And people are high on Herbert right now. So I think it's going to be interesting. Miami, you always hear they like them a lot. Well, they're going to have a decision to make. Do you want Herbert? Do you want Tua at 5? Talk about trading up for Tua, but Herbert's kind of lost in this discussion a bit, along with Jordan Love from Utah State, who's now in that mid, some think early like Todd does first round. I think more Raiders at 12 would be a good landing spot for him, but I think the injury is a factor, and also durability. Even if he got a clean bill of health moving forward, Trey, and everybody say, oh, he'll be ready. Do you want to medically redshirt him? And then it gets into, is he going to be durable once he's in the league with those 3 injuries already behind him?
Well, that's the other thing, right? Because we're talking about 2 ankle surgeries, which actually could help him in the long term, but he also had the knee injury that's lingered. So it's not just the massive hip injury, but from what we can see, which is sometimes very different from what we actually know, everything looks okay from Tua at this moment. Mel, stay there. We'll get to you in a minute. Adam, we saw that 10-second video, and a lot of people raved about that 10-second video, but we don't know whether or not as soon as that video stopped, he was like, oh, that really hurt my hip. So it really is creating a real dilemma for people who are willing to invest maybe either a top 5 pick or trading up multiple picks to get to him.
Well, Trey, that's all players can do at this time, not being able to work out for teams, not being able to visit with teams, have a physical with teams. All they can do is put out messages that they control to teams so that teams can see them. And yes, anybody who saw that video of Tua had to be encouraged with the way that he looked. But that's just a small piece of the puzzle. It doesn't mean that a team's doctors can examine Tua the way a team would want to. And he still remains the great medical mystery of this draft. Yes, there's tremendous talent and upside, and teams are basically enamored with his abilities. But the fact of the matter remains, he's still a medical question mark. We don't know how well that hip is fully recovering. Laura Rutledge said today that he would be ready to play week 1 this year. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. We don't know. And so teams have to take something of an educated medical guess when it comes to Tua. But if they like the player enough and they believe in the player enough, maybe you go take him no matter what.
All right, Adam, thanks very much. Let's go back to Lewis here for a second. Lewis, we're all in a different world. Let's be clear about this, right? We're all doing things differently than we've normally done them. You and Mel and Adam would normally be sitting next to me on the set. Instead, we're doing this remotely. How can teams do what we're doing now to try and get the best medical evaluation of Tua by using forums where we can sort of deal with this virtually instead of seeing someone up close?
Yeah, I think the only way they can wind up doing that is maybe they can. I don't know if the league will allow this, but I think to put some eyes on him and just see how he's moving and being able to interact with him. Can you have those virtual workouts where you actually have a camera at a school or at some kind of facility, obviously where he is away from everyone else and he's not putting himself in harm's way from a bigger picture perspective, meaning the coronavirus that we're all trying to avoid, and then watch him work out and actually view him going through movement skills and maybe instruct him to do certain things that you need him to do remotely, whether it be through text or whatever, or through some kind of FaceTime where you're actually talking him through what you need him to do and then being able to look at him that way. There's no way, really. I don't think you can have a virtual physical. I mean, you can't ask some other doctor to do some things that you want your doctors to do to him and look at it that way. I don't think that's feasible. I mean, who knows? I guess anything's possible if you really need to find the information at this point in time. But, I mean, what this is doing to Tua in a different way, it's doing the same thing to Jordan Love. It's doing the same thing to Justin Herbert in this regard. I know this. I know there are teams right now that are interested in those 2 guys, and it's back and forth between who likes who. You'll poll 5 scouts, they'll tell you they like Jordan Love. 5 more, they'll tell you like Justin Herbert. If you polled that many, but here's the fact of the matter is teams right now, when you're stuck in that kind of position, you're looking for something to sway you one way or another. Whether you think it should come down to this or not, it comes down to this time period for every team every year. No matter what they saw in the fall, no matter what they saw in the summer, and for those 2 guys right now to not be able to take take top 30 visits, to not have really coordinated, specific one-on-one workouts for teams that are considering them, it's hurting them too. And quite honestly, the best situation you would want to find yourself in at this point, if you're a quarterback-needy team, is to have a bridge quarterback already in place where you can just basically redshirt all three of those guys this year and not have to count on them. Because having been through the 2011 lockout, and then all of a sudden you come into camp with a bunch of new people. We had new changes on our coaching staff in Philadelphia in 2011. Let me just tell you this. It's almost impossible to come out of the gate fast and compete with the teams, as Coach Payton was saying, that have continuity and pretty much know what their roster is. So it's hurting more players than just Tua, and you're going to see that play itself out through the draft, where if you could be a fly on the wall in certain draft rooms, you would probably, or not draft rooms, in the heads of general managers, you could probably hear the gears grinding going, man, I don't have everything that would make me rock solid on this pick, and teams are just going to have to really rely on their gut instinct and their own program strength, hopefully, to really see them through this entire thing.
Yeah, it's the guys like Tua that are injured, and then those fringe 5th, 6th, or 7th round guys that you really want to see in person and grind on, that you're going to have to rely on the tape, which sometimes is not the most conclusive thing because of the competition they're playing against.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.